The IP transition is probably the most exciting factor, in the TMT sector. I head up one of the largest telecom legal practices in the telecom industry. We have 30 lawyers who focus nothing but telecom regulation. So my role is really as an advisor, as a board member to a number of telecom carriers, manufacturers, suppliers, vendors in this ecosystem who are trying to make sense of the evolution and try to find a way that they can successfully grow along with the transition. I think we're probably in the second inning. Okay. I think we're very much in the beginning, and I think it's going to be one of those games like baseball that isn't rolled by a clock. I mean, we'll end it when it ends and when we know it's transitioned, as opposed to putting any arbitrary deadlines in. But you're right. I mean, there are a lot of concerns out there. I mean, concerns pertaining to competition, consumer protection, on access to the hearing impaired and other disabilities. There are issues also regarding public safety, national security. So all those issues, appropriately need to be ironed out as we go through this transition. I think it's going to be a process. I'm not sure that we're completely going to abandon the old TDM network. And I think we need to deal both with fiber and copper. I think one thing that a lot of people don't realize is that copper, particularly with Ethernet over copper, has the opportunity to be a IP platform as well. So there are issues on copper retirement. There are issues on investment. There's the transition from wireline to wireless. But ultimately, I think we are clearly going to an IP mode. But the IP mode may not be in the way we envision, and may be a combination, and should be a combination of various technologies: copper, fiber, wireless, coax. I'd say that some of the key benefits are going to be speed, are going to be increased bandwidth. I hope we're going to be more bandwidth adoption. I think it's really disappointing that over 1/3 of American citizens don't have broadband, even though they have access to broadband. So I think we need to do more on broadband adaptability. We need to have more content and more language, relevant content, to get more people to subscribe, which is a benefit for all of us, given the economies of telephony. And I think there will be new forms of healthcare, e-governance, education, training that we haven't even seen before. So security. So I think those are all important, and I think we'll all benefit, prosper by the development of an increased IP backbone and network. I think both federal and state regulators have seen their roles change over time, and I think there are really a number of antiquated regulations on the periphery that could be eliminated. But I think it's important to distinguish the core from the ancillary, or the jugular from the capillary regulations. And I'd say the real jugular regulations are to preserve interconnection. I mean, I think the National Telephone Cooperative Association put it well in its pleading, and that is IP interconnection actually enhances IP development rather than truncates it. So I would say, let's focus on the core principles, and there's a lot of other regulatory authority at the state level and the FCC that can be diminished or over time eliminated if those core principles remain in place.